Hello. In this brief video we will walk through the basic functions of the Grader Report page in the eClass Gradebook. This is a page that you will refer to when viewing or assigning student grades. To begin, navigate within your eClass course and click on the Grades button in the course toolbar. On the following page you will see the Grader Report of your eClass Gradebook. This will contain a simple spreadsheet of all the grades in your eClass course. You will notice that each row represents an individual student assigned to your course. Likewise, each column represents an individual assignment or category average in your eClass Gradebook setup. To assign scores in your eClass Gradebook, you will first need to turn on Edit mode. When the page reloads, you will notice input boxes in each cell for entering a score. For more detailed scoring options, you can click the Action button next to a grade input and choose Edit Grade. On the page that follows, you will be able to assign a score, and you will also have individualized settings to hide or lock the score from an individual student, or to write back personalized feedback comments that will be attached to the score. Any written feedback comments are available for students to see later in their individual grade report. Once the necessary changes are made, you can click Save Changes to be directed back to the Grader report. If a feedback comment has been saved for any of the scores in your gradebook, it will be denoted with an asterisk icon on the cell, and you'll be able to see the feedback comment by clicking on the Action button attached to the cell. In order to assign scores in bulk for a particular assignment, without needing to fuss over any of the other assignments on the spreadsheet, click on the Action button at the top of a column, and select the single view page for the individual assignment. On that page, with Edit mode turned on, you will be able to quickly assign a grade for each individual student, or bulk insert grades as needed. Once all grades are assigned in the single view page, click Save on the bottom of the screen to finalize the scores. Also, in the Grader Report page, you may notice that scores already exist for particular eClass activities in your course. This could include automatically graded quiz scores, or manually graded forum or assignment scores. For these particular kinds of grades, you can also override what the gradebook says the score ought to be. For example, if a student never completes an eClass quiz, assignment, or forum, you can manually insert a 0 to indicate they did not complete that item. When you attempt to do this, you'll notice that the grade and feedback boxes are not available to you until you click the Override checkbox, which will allow you to overwrite what the grade and feedback ought to be. When you click Save, the grade will be available to you in the Grader report. You'll notice in the case of a grade override that the cell gains a new pencil on paper icon to indicate that you have manually written in the grade. You can also use overrides in the gradebook to correct a grade that's already there. For example, if a student performs poorly due to a quiz error or earns extra credit after the fact, you can then use an override to correct the grade. If you ever need to remove an override from a particular assignment, begin by clicking the menu button at the top to get back to the single view page. On the single view page for the assignment, you can then undo the overrides by unchecking the override checkbox for a particular grade, or you can undo all the overrides by clicking on the Actions menu and choosing Override None to uncheck all of the boxes. To save that change, simply go to the bottom of your screen and click Save.